Hi, I'm Wayne Alaroot for Personal Liberty. What if I told you that Mitt Romney can solve two of America's biggest problems? Yes, the man whose mediocre presidential campaign almost sunk the entire Republican Party can now save it. And even better, the same Mitt Romney, now an unelected private citizen, can also save Detroit and with it the whole U.S. economy and become an American hero. Let me tell you how. Regardless of the lies the Obama administration and the media are telling us, we are sliding into an economic abyss. Walmart executives called the start to this year a total disaster. Disposable income, we found out last week, for working Americans suffered the worst drop since record-keeping began in 1959. GM dealer inventory, cars sitting on the lots, the second highest in history. The Federal Reserve Bank reported 35% of student loan borrowers under the age of 30 are at least 90 days late on their payments. 35%! U.S. families with a head of the household under the age of 30 have a poverty rate of 37%. And almost 50% of Americans have less than $500 in savings. Folks, we are the Hindenburg. Why is this happening? You can see America's future by studying Detroit. Obama's policies are damaging the entire U.S. economy the same way that socialist policies, Democrats call them progressive, have destroyed Detroit. Detroit is a microcosm for everything ailing our economy. For almost 5 consecutive decades, Detroit has been run by liberal Democrats following the exact same socialist policies that Obama is now forcing on the U.S. economy. Bigger government, more government spending, out-of-control entitlements, too many government employees, obscene pensions, high taxes, too much power to unions, too much debt, and an economy run based on fairness and social justice. Just look at the results. You'll get sick to your stomach. The Obama economic model has been on display forever in Detroit. 1961 was the last time Detroit had a Republican in charge, and the result is a bankrupt third world hellhole in the middle of America. Here's how bad Detroit is. I wrote a commentary right here at Personal Liberty back in December reporting on how far Detroit had fallen. Here are just a few select highlights. The city has debt and liabilities of an unimaginable $14 billion. Almost 1/3 of the housing units in Detroit are vacant. Detroit is ranked America's most dangerous city for the 4th year in a row, with 5 times the higher violent crime rate than the national average. 34.5% of households in Detroit get food stamps. The mayor recently admitted true unemployment tops 50%. 54% of all children in Detroit live in poverty, and almost 50% of the adults are functionally illiterate. Under Obama, these kinds of results are now happening across America. The only difference is Democrats had a 50-year head start with Detroit. But life's funny. All this terrible news actually brings up a great opportunity. First, we learned just days ago that I was right. Detroit is now officially bankrupt, and the governor is about to appoint a manager to try and save Detroit. Second, did you see Mitt Romney's interview on Fox News Channel on Sunday? Mitt is now retired, sitting on the sidelines, playing with his 20 grandkids, chomping at the bit to use his lifetime of business experience to save the U.S. economy. Anyone could see that Mitt Romney is desperate to get back in the game. Here's where opportunity meets a lifetime of preparation. Here's a chance for Republicans and Democrats to stop debating, arguing, and yelling at each other. Here's an opportunity to prove by real-life example that when it comes to the economy, jobs, and money, we need adults who know how to run a business in charge. It's conservatives and capitalists who have the ideas and know-how to save America. Let's go prove it. Fate is calling. Mitt Romney was born for this role. Michigan Governor Snyder should appoint Mitt to oversee the turnaround in Detroit. Last week, I mentioned right here at Personal Liberty that Mitt was the perfect person to become president of the United States at this moment in time. What a loss. And some of you here at Personal Liberty didn't get what I meant. Yeah, Mitt Romney was a lousy candidate. No debate there. No, he's no inspiring speaker. No debate there. And he sure isn't a principled conservative like Barry Goldwater or a principled libertarian like Ron Paul. But I wasn't talking about any of those things. America, at this moment in time, needs a businessman. A Mitt Romney or a Lee Iacocca or a Ross Perot. We need a no-nonsense CEO and turnaround specialist who knows how to cut budgets with a buzzsaw and a bazooka. Mitt not only may be the greatest business turnaround expert of our time, sitting bored on the sidelines playing with his grandkids, just looking for a way to contribute, but he's also a Michigan native. He's the hometown boy. This is the perfect scenario. I'm betting within a year, this world-class, brilliant businessman can give Detroit's residents hope and within 3 years put Detroit on the road to recovery. How? simply by undoing the damage done by 5 decades of Democratic policies. It's time to put a responsible adult in charge. It's time to show the difference between a CEO running a city or a country versus a community activist and a socialist. I'm betting Mitt will turn the Detroit economy around just like he turned around a failing, bankrupt Salt Lake City Olympics and made it one of the greatest successes in Olympic history. Just like he turned around dozens of major companies. Just like Ronald Reagan turned Jimmy Carter's economy of misery, malaise, and 21.5% interest rates into the greatest economic expansion in world history with 20 million jobs created almost overnight. This doesn't take brain science, folks. It takes cutting government, cutting spending, cutting entitlements, cutting government employees, and cutting bloated salaries and pensions. It takes running a government for the taxpayers, not the unions and the welfare addicts, and a leader with the courage to do it and do it right. Let's give Mitt a chance to show what he can do. I'm the guy who predicted that President Mitt Romney would have turned around the U.S. economy in record time. Not because I agree with his politics. I think he's way too moderate, wishy-washy, mamby-pamby, Northeast liberal for me. But because saving the economy is about understanding business. 99% of even the most fantastic conservative and libertarian politicians that you can name have never created a job in the private sector in their lives. Putting someone like Mitt in charge is very rare in U.S. political history. So let's try and experiment with Detroit. We have nothing to lose. It can't get any worse. Let's see what a talented CEO with a wealth of business experience can do with a hellhole created by Obama-like economic policies. And then, after Mitt saves Detroit, the voters of America will finally have a proven model. There will be proof that Obama's ideas were a failure and that fiscally conservative ideas are the only things that will restore the American economy and the American dream. This isn't a game, folks. Our jobs and livelihoods and the future of our children and grandchildren are at stake. It's time to prove lawyers and community activists and socialists and Marxists shouldn't be running our cities or our states or our country. We need to put adults and businessmen and women in charge of the finances. Mr. Obama, are you game? Do you really want to save America? Do you really want to create jobs? Do you really want to get people off food stamps? Or are you simply afraid this experiment might actually work and embarrass you? As they say in poker, I'm going all in. I'm betting on Mitt Romney as the guy to save Detroit and therefore show the way for America. This isn't about politics. I've never been a big fan of Mitt's politics, but this is about business. It's simple. Government needs to be run like a business. It has to be run for the taxpayers. It has to be run on a budget. And if you don't have the money, you have to cut spending. It's time to put adults in charge, and here's our chance. I'm Wayne Alaroot for Personal Liberty. See you next week. God bless America.